Now time for some Mizzie Maxx Band Faxx. Hi, and welcome to the first edition of Did You Know with Mizzie Maxx. Our first band today is ACDC. Let's go. School uniform is a stage outfit? Hell yeah. I have also gone with the classic Angus school uniform outfit to represent ACDC today, which was actually his sister Margaret's idea. She thought it would be a good idea for him to stand out. It would make him a little bit different from everybody else, and boy, as we know, did that work. He is at the front of every album, of every poster. And if you think of ACDC, you're most likely to think of Angus and his classic school uniform outfit. Did you know that ACDC almost had a different name? Malcolm and Angus can also go with the name of the Tantrum or the Poor Boys, which have kind of made the school uniform maybe look more like a chimney sweep. I don't know. But in the end, they ended up going with Margaret's name idea, which was ACDC, which was from her sewing machine, as most really big fans know that, except for a long time, for some reason, I thought it was named after a vacuum cleaner. I don't know why that, but I'm sure there's other things like that where people think it was named from, but it was a sewing machine. Did you know that ACDC were banned from Disneyland back in 1978 from one of their shows? It was just because of the usual thing. They were too rock and roll, they were too hardcore, they were too rebellious, and probably not the best reputation for Disneyland, although I would probably love to see some Disney characters that are like that. I could imagine like some kind of rock and roll princess. I think Barbie's already done it 1,000 times, but I would like to see Disney do it. Did you know that the bell in Hell's Bells was real? ACDC got a custom-made bronze 1-ton bell made just for the start of that song, so it wasn't a sound effect, it really was a real bell. Did you know back in 1991, ACDC played to 1.6 million people in Moscow, and apparently a lot of those people that went to the show hadn't actually heard any Western rock music before, but I'm assuming they absolutely loved it, as ACDC is still and continues to be one of the best Australian bands ever. Did you know that Bon Scott played the bagpipes? I know it's an absolute classic song, A Long Way to the Top if you want to rock and roll, or as Aussies call it, A Long Way to the Shop if you want a sausage roll, which my dad used to always say to me when that song came on. He actually learned to play the bagpipes in a military band before joining ACDC. Cool fact, best bagpipe solo ever. Did you know the song The Jack is not written about playing cards? It's actually a lot grosser than that. The song is written about getting venereal disease. Venereal disease? I don't know. It's about catching an STD. So when it says, she gave me the Jack, it's talking about getting an STD on tour. So, it's that one. Did you know that ACDC hold a Guinness World Record, and it's probably for what you expect it to be? It is for being the loudest band possibly ever been recorded. It was back in 1986, and they were recorded at 130 decibels, which is ridiculously loud. But it was so loud that it was enough to cause structural damage to the buildings nearby and probably a bunch of other stuff, and I'm assuming a lot of people went deaf that day. With that ringing sound, like, but yeah, wow. Did you know that Back in Black was one of the best-selling albums like ever? It sold over 50 million copies, and it was second to Michael Jackson's Thriller, which is absolutely massive, and coming from Australia, that's a pretty big deal. These guys rule. Did you know back in 2008, ACDC had their own tour train? When I say tour train, I mean a train that they would use for a stage prop, basically, that would come crashing through the stage. It was for their Black Ice tour, and I can only imagine the effort and the work the roadies would have to go through to set that thing up on every show, and then like traveling around from one place to the next. You have to keep setting up this train. That would totally suck. But otherwise, it was an epic show for all the fans to watch. And thank you so much for watching Mizzie Maxx Band Faxx, or Did You Know? And I hope you have a good time. Let me know in the comments below if you've got some cool ACDC facts, or if you need to correct anything that I've said. I appreciate it. Cheers, guys.